With today's video, I'm going to be covering tips for Revenant so you can strike fear into your opponents. This is the ultimate Revenant guide, so I will cover everything from the basics to the advanced Revenant tips that you can use in the highest ranks of play. I'll be making sure to have everything timestamped so you can quickly move throughout the video to find exactly what you need. Revenant is classified as an offensive legend, and he specializes in ambushes and discrete aggression. Rev's passive ability is called Stalker, and it increases his crouched movement speed, climbing speed, and maximum climbing height. Revenant's crouch walking speed is the same as his walking speed, and he can climb walls more than 6 times higher than a normal legend. He can also climb shorter walls 25% faster because it takes longer for his climbing speed to decelerate. With this passive ability from mid-range encounters, you will want to keep a crouch and strafe with Revenant because your hitbox will be much smaller and you'll be able to keep a faster strafe speed than if you were standing straight up. For close range encounters, you'll want to utilize a crouch spam technique, meaning you can mix in tons of crouches while you're strafing left and right at close range. This will keep your momentum and will also change your head positioning. It's much easier to get a deadly headshot close range, and your opponent will have a much easier time lining up a headshot if you stay crouched while at close range. So make sure to mix it up with your standing strafe to your spam crouch strafes with Revenant, because you'll maintain your speed even in that crouched position. Revenant also gets a nice buff or bonus to certain weapons, since some weapons are much more accurate while crouched and fired from the hip. For example, the wingman hip fire is incredibly accurate while crouched. However, the bullet travel location is pretty unpredictable while you're standing straight up. Revenant can take advantage of this by utilizing hip fire while remaining crouched to maintain that speed. The G7 Scout is another weapon that has far greater hip fire while crouched, so try and take advantage of this weapon as well with Rev. When utilizing close range weapons with Revenant like a shotgun, you can also trick some enemies with his passive to ambush them unexpectedly. If an enemy sees you next to a door or needs to turn a corner as they walk into the building, you can bait them by moving away from that door and then immediately climbing up the wall. You're going to start climbing extremely fast, and as soon as that enemy walks into the room, you can basically pounce on them from the ceiling with your shotgun or SMG to do major burst damage. This will catch them off guard and give you a good heads up in the fight. With Revenant's passive, the faster crouch walking speed also means that you should always be crouch walking while healing with Revenant, as you're able to move faster and heal while crouched. Legends are also extremely quiet in Apex while they're crouched, so utilize his crouch speed to your advantage and use this when the time is right to approach an enemy from behind. Rev also can attempt to counterbalance the strength of Seer. Since you aren't able to be detected in Seer's ultimate while crouched, Rev can remain undetected and with more speed than other legends as he moves around Seer's ultimate. Revenant's tactical ability is called Silence, where he throws an orb that deals 10 damage and disables enemy abilities for 15 seconds. He has 2 total charges, and the cooldown for his tactical is 25 seconds. Holding the tactical button will allow you to aim and delay the throw, while meleeing will cancel the tactical. You're able to throw this tactical about 75 meters unless you're attempting to throw it from high ground, at which that point you can launch it for about 100 meters. Since this is an offhand ability, you're able to perform this action while utilizing other abilities like healing, reloading, or firing your weapon. Once the orb is thrown, the orb will explode on contact and leaves a lingering cloud for 10 seconds. You can use this cloud or orb as an area of denial to block enemies for 10 seconds, as a lot of the time they will choose to go around your orb. They don't want to get their ability silenced. If you're able to catch a wraith while they're attempting to portal, if you do silence her, it will completely cancel her ultimate. When you're playing as Revenant, you need to prioritize hitting certain enemies with your silence over others, because it will really shut down certain legends in the game. For instance, Gibraltar's arm shield is nullified by the silence. Pathfinder, Valk, and Wraith are all unable to escape. Life Lifeline's unable to use her Doc heal drone to revive, and if you're able to hit Bloodhound or Seer, obviously they're not going to be able to scan your team. The Silence ability does cause a lot of visual clutter as well, so you can try and use it as a potential cover from range to try and pop a healing item or to revive a teammate from long range. Revenant's ultimate ability, Death Totem, protects its users from death. Instead of getting downed, you'll return from the totem when you run out of HP. The charge time is 3 minutes for the ultimate ability, it lasts 30 seconds, and it has 100 health. When placed, the totem emits a visual effect that has an orange glowing aura that can be seen by enemies. Both squad mates and enemies can use the totem one time to turn themselves into a shadow for 25 seconds. Shadows cannot use healing items, and all received damage ignores your body shields. When a shadow is killed, they return to the totem with 50 health or whatever health they had when they activated that totem if it is lower than 50 HP, and then you'll also see a wispy red trail when you get sent back for an approximate clue on where that totem was placed. In shadow form, you'll want to be aggressive and group up with your teammates because you need to try and get a knockdown on one enemy before your time runs out. When you do get that knockdown, do everything you can in your power to thirst or full kill that team or full kill that enemy so you can make that fight a guaranteed 3 versus 2. Don't worry about the other 2 enemies after you knock one, just focus on that finish. That's your main goal with the totem. Now keep in mind you can use all of your abilities still while you're a shadow, so I highly recommend using ultimates paired with your shadow form to be aggressive and trap enemy teams. It's extremely good to pair Rev's ultimate with mobility to get you in, but also with Caustic's ultimate gas grenade to trap enemies at bay while you push them. You also need to keep in mind that Revenant's ult is a signal. It's best used as a safe third-party tool, meaning when 2 other squads are fighting, you can safely place your totem, jump pad in or ash portal in with your teammates, and get a free kill or 2 without completely risking your life. You can also use your totem to help you recover hard to reach player banners or revive your teammates as a shadow if you don't want to risk your life completely. When you're low on time as a shadow, you will start to have an audio cue to the enemy team, letting them know you're about to transform back to a normal character. The worst thing that can happen as a Revenant team is having one of your teammates transform back to normal while the other 2 players were sent back, because that player is now trapped and at a severe disadvantage. The numbers are not going to be in that player's favor. So make sure you communicate with your teammates on allowing the enemies to send you back when you need to get sent back, or always have a grenade to try and do the full damage to send yourself back to the totem. Combine Revenant's Death Totem with Octane's Jump Pad, Pathfinder's Zipline, Wraith's Ultimate, or Ash's Portal to get to the fight quickly as a shadow. Also remember, the totem can be used to block doors. Players cannot use Wraith's Portal for 2 seconds after returning to the totem. Octane's passive Swift Mend can restore health as a shadow, and also performing a finisher while you're a shadow will refill your body shield, even though you cannot usually heal this as a shadow. Revenant as a legend doesn't always have a ton of utility other than pushing other teams. However, if you are desperate for loot, you can even decide to use your ultimate ability to get a dangerous location loot box or care package, because that loot does come with you as a shadow. Now, Revenant's playstyle is unlike any other legend in the entire game. I know he's listed as an offensive legend, however, the most effective Revenant players will most likely be in the middle to the back of their squad in a fight. This is due to Revenant's large hitbox and due to his poor mobility. If he gets caught out in the open or too far in enemy territory, he doesn't have an ability like a Wraith Phase or a Pathfinder Grapple to get out. Revenant can get some really good flanks from enemies that have high ground, as he's able to sneak up and climb to the top. You'll just need to coordinate this timing perfectly with your teammates, as you'll need backup immediately when you reach the top. Since Revenant should be near the back of the squad or in the middle, I definitely recommend an assault rifle for your primary weapon paired with a ranged scope. You can also utilize a sniper for ranked, and that would work well with Revenant. The Wingman and the G7 Scout, like we discussed earlier, are both very good with Revenant since he can be really accurate while crouched with those weapons. Then you can pair one of those weapons with a shotgun or an SMG that can get tons of big burst damage off immediately while you're in shadow form to guarantee you a quick knockdown when you get close to an enemy. Some players with Revenant have mastered his wall running ability. Since Rev has a passive to climb walls for longer distances, you can actually pair his passive with wall runs and tap strafes for for some really cool plays. In order to wall run, any character can perform it. You'll just need to gain speed, run up to the wall, and then hold your directional button towards the direction you want to wall run towards. With Revenant, once you get to the end of the wall and towards a corner, you can immediately jump off, then tap strafe towards the new section of the wall and continue with your wall run. I by no means am an expert with this mobility technique. I'm really not a Rev main at heart. This guide is just for you guys, and I wanted to make sure to share it with you guys so you had all the information that you had to succeed with Revenant. And I'll post a link in the description below if you guys want to further investigate the Revenant wall running tactic for fights in game. Now, alright guys, that brings me to the end of this guide. If this video helped you, do me a huge favor and drop a like on this video. It honestly helps a ton, and I really do appreciate it. Also, if you guys want to continue to improve at Apex Legends, then consider subscribing to my channel, where my goal is to help you to get on that championship banner. Thank you so much guys, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm Grizzy, and I'm out. Peace.